From Governor's Comedy Club in Levittown, this is Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com. TicketBash.com, where memories are made affordable and where you'll never pay a service fee. Sports Bash is also presented by Ryan Anthony's Heating and Air Conditioning Service, keeping Long Island warm for over 18 years, serving their customers in Nassau and Suffolk with pride, honesty, and integrity. For more information, visit www.liboilers.com. Sports Bash is brought to you by the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage. Every customer is considered family at the Embassy Diner. Mention Sports Bash and get a free dessert with your meal. And by the Marty Lyons Foundation, the official charity of Sports Bash Media. For more information, go to martylyonsfoundation.org. Well, hi again, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I'm Peter Schwartz. 516-465-3990 is the number to call. Hope you had a great Memorial Day weekend, and you can certainly join the show at 516-465-3990. Make sure you're subscribing to Govs Comedy Club podcast channel on YouTube and follow Sports Bash Media on X, Instagram, and Facebook. Great show for you today. We'll try to do a great show. I mean, we always try it every single time. It's not always as great as you want it to be, but I think we're going to have a great show today. Coming up, we're going to be joined by Adelphi University men's lacrosse head coach Gordon Purdy. Congratulations to Gordon and the rest of the Panthers on Sunday. They became national champions for the second straight year with an overtime win against Tampa. So we'll have Gordon on to talk about that. And also, we will reminisce about our days together with the New York Saints indoor lacrosse team, because Gordy was one of the stars of that team at late 80s, early 90s. I was their radio announcer for 4 years, and maybe we'll bring Dancing Tony into the conversation as well. Tony Walker, my producer and the host of the Knock 'em Dead comedy show every weekday from 11 a.m. to 12:30. We found out on the show last week on Friday that we kind of knew this a little bit, but we finally saw some evidence of this with a video that Tony played of him dancing in the aisleway of at the Saints game at the Nassau Coliseum. He had some great moves, and he was a big part of the tradition of going to Saints games, that during a timeout he would dance. And I think we'll ask Gordon if he remembers Dancing Tony. Remember, my friend Josh called in. Josh was an intern with the Saints back in the day, and called in and talked about it. And Tony immediately, I'm sure he has it on speed dial, whatever you want. It's covered on YouTube, whatever. He's got it bookmarked or whatever. And so that's great. So we'll talk to Gordon. By the way, great job by Adelphi. That was a great game. I got to see the end of it on Sunday night, and the overtime goal, and they're dancing in the streets in Garden City, back-to-back national titles at the Division II level. I don't care what division it is. I don't care if it's Division I, 1AA, in football, obviously, 2, 3, JUCO. You win back-to-back national champions. That's a pretty cool thing. And I invited Gordon to come in studio, but obviously there's so much stuff going on. They just came back yesterday. If you were watching News 12 yesterday, they had the video of the bus arriving from Foxborough, where they played the championship weekend. And I invited Gordon to come in here with the trophy. Last year at this time, after they won last year, we were doing Sports Bash at LI News Radio, and we were also doing these special, what we called, they were social media only and YouTube only things called Sports Bash Spotlight, which we may or may not bring back. We're still working that out. But I went to Adelphi. I went to Gordon's office, and we did a special Sports Bash Spotlight last year. And the trophy was there with us. He'll have the trophy on the Zoom with him when we talk to him in a little bit. But I got to hold the trophy in his office, and I'm telling you, I'm not joking. That thing is heavy. I've held the Stanley Cup. It's not that heavy. It's hollow inside of it. That championship trophy that they give these college teams, and it's the same one that they give to the Division I champion, and I think it's the same one they give to the Division III. But that was solid oak. That was heavy. And I took a picture of it, holding it, with Gordon, and it was great. But we'll talk to Gordon on Zoom a little bit later from his office there at Adelphi University. What a great story that was over the weekend. We'll also have the weekly Ticket Bash sports calendar. We'll have the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day. And later in the show, again, we'll take a look and preview what's coming up on Thursday's show. Thursday shapes up as being another big day in local sports. We'll tell you about that later. No guest book just yet for Thursday. We're going to see how things play out over the next day or so and see who we're going to book on the show for Thursday. But obviously a lot of things in play. Yankees got their West Coast swing off to a great start with a win in Anaheim last night after taking 2 out of 3 against Colorado. The Mets with a walk-off win yesterday against the White Sox. Again, for the Yankees struggled at times with the Rockies over the weekend. You can't really struggle with a team like the White Sox. But listen, the bottom line is the Mets got the job done, and they won that game yesterday in front of a big crowd at Citi Field. We'll talk about the Mets a little bit later on. But, of course, we start on this Tuesday with the Knicks. And, sometimes on the show I like to channel my inner WWE. And if you watch WWE, the character, The Undertaker, whose real name is Mark Calloway, and he's in the WWE Hall of Fame. And, I mean, his character was pretty deep at times, but there were always these scenes and these moments, if you watched wrestling, where he would be laying down on the ring, in the ring, or he would be laying in a casket, and you'd think he was finished, and all of a sudden he's laying back like this, like with his eyes closed, and he rises like this, like he's rising from the dead, right? So I'm watching the Knicks game the other night, Game 3, and when they come back from 20 points down and win Game 3, first thing I think about are one of those. Is it a GIF or a GIF when they do that? When you do those little videos on, it's a GIF. Yeah, I always mess that up, and I get corrected by my family about that. Look, I'm an old fart. I'm 57, so I some of these the lingo I don't get all, but it's a GIF, right? So there's this GIF of the Undertaker laying in a casket, and all of it. The guy is trying to close the casket on him, and all of a sudden he goes like this with his eyes, and like he was dead, and now he's alive. And that's what I thought about watching the Knicks the other night. I mean, that's unbelievable. After the way they lost their first 2 games at home, losing that big lead in the last 2 minutes in Game 1, and then really playing, for the most part, uninspired basketball in Game 2 at home at the Garden, you're down 0-2 going to Indiana. I've got Golden State on my mind for something else, but I'll get to that later. So they're down 20 points in the first half on Sunday night in Game 3. And you're like, oh, they got one step further this year. They just, ran out of gas. Maybe it's a bad matchup. But they come back. And for the 3rd time in the playoffs, 2 times against Boston and now 1 time against Indiana, they come back from 20 points down and they win. And now that changes the whole complexity of the series, because now, as much as the Knicks were down in the dumps after losing that Game 1 at the Garden, the Pacers have to be feeling the same thing. Plus, Nesmith is questionable for the game tonight for Game 4, and you don't know if the Pacers are going to have him. So now the tables have turned. Look, the Knicks still have to go out tonight and get the series tied heading back as the series heads back to New York for Game 5 on Thursday. Down 3-1, the odds are very, very bad that you can come back and win. Now, it's been done 3-1 in the NBA. It's never been done 3-0, but it's been done 3-1. But the Knicks now are in a position, after what they did on Sunday in Game 3, that they have to have the Pacers thinking about this a little bit. And when the Knicks fall behind, they've got it on their resume 3 times this year, down by 20. And remember, they were down, I think it was in Game 4 against Boston. They were down by double digits and came back and won. It wasn't 20, but I think it was double digits in Game 4. And that got them to the 3-1 series lead. They ultimately took care of business against the Celtics. But what a glorious chance the Knicks have here. As poorly as things went for them in the first two games, they've got a chance now. And when you look back at Game 3 the other night, Jalen Brunson was not on top of his game, got into foul trouble, and for 3 quarters, Karl-Anthony Towns was the invisible man. As he's been, to be fair, throughout most of the playoffs. He has not been as impactful as you might have hoped. But wow, once the fourth quarter came around, 20 points of his 24 in the game, and he had 15 boards too, but 20 points in the fourth quarter, and OG did his thing, and Bridges hit some shots, and Josh Hart did his thing, but yeah, and Jalen Brunson had a big three-pointer in the comeback, hit some big free throws, and the Knicks come back and they win. And of course, everyone's being silly on social media because, like, oh, all the Knicks have to do, just spot Indiana a 20-point lead in Game 4 tonight. It's not that simple. The last thing you really want to do is be down 20 points. Although, again, the Knicks have the track record here in the playoffs of coming back from that. But it would behoove the Knicks to get off to a good start. I mean, you'd like to see them set the pace early on. Tony, somebody was just waving to you. I don't know who that was. That was a new face for me. I have never seen that person before, but he was waving to you. Just want to let you. There he is. He's back again. Okay.
That's the exterminator.
Oh, the exterminator. A few minutes ago, I'm talking about the Undertaker, and now you're telling me the exterminator. Is he a WWE guy?
He's a big Yankee fan. I know that.
He is a big guy. Okay. I don't know if that's good or bad.
Yeah, true.
And I don't know if it's good or bad that you just told me that the exterminator is here. I'm getting my bag off the floor. Wiz is not here today. I'm putting my bag on his chair. The exterminator is coming, ladies and gentlemen. You want to fill me in? There's anything I need to know about that?
He needs to exterminate.
Any room I need to stay away from after the show is over?
You never know.
Yeah. The exterminator. Boy, that really throws. Now Tony's getting up. He's going to go outside. No, he's turning. I think he's turning off the air.
I'm turning it on.
Turning it on. It is a little warm in here.
A little bit.
The other day I was complaining. See, Peter can never be happy because the other day I was complaining about how freaking cold it was in here. Yeah. And I wasn't going to say anything until you just got up to do that. But in any event, thank you. But yeah, it would behoove the Knicks to get off to a solid start. I mean, the last thing, again, you want to keep doing is falling behind and having to come back. But it also would behoove Karl-Anthony Towns to play like he played in the fourth quarter from the start. You know, the Knicks need that A-plus effort again from Jalen Brunson. I mean, for whatever reason, he was not the Jalen Brunson that we've come to know the other night. But the other big thing that came out of the game the other night was that Tom Thibodeau, the head coach, using his bench a little bit more. When things were not going well, he went deeper into his bench and got some good contributions. So I think if you're the Knicks, you have to be feeling a lot better. I mean, listen, you're down 0-2 and down 20. It's not looking great. It's looking like they're going to get swept out of the series. But now all of a sudden, you get that game, and now it's a brand new series. And now you, as much as the Knicks were thinking about things after losing game 1 in that big lead, the Pacers have to be in that same situation. Plus, they've got the injury factor, not knowing if Nesmith is going to be available for the game tonight. So I think that's going to be an interesting thing to see. And here's the other thing, too, is Madison Square Garden was sold out the other night to watch the game on the big screens, and they're sold out again tonight.
Wow.
Not that I was able to go because I'll be following the game on my phone later, and then on TV when I get home, and I'm going with my son to the Liberty game tonight. We'll get into that a little bit later on because there's an interesting story about the team that they're playing tonight, which is the biggest reason why we're going was it's the first Liberty game against this new team. So that my son really wanted to go, so I'm like, all right, let's go. We'll go to the game. Ticketbash.com for all your ticket needs. Whenever you need something at the last minute, you always go to ticketbash.com. They always do well by you. And I wasn't paid any extra to say that. I just figured I would throw that in. But the Garden's sold out again tonight. Like, if you want to go to the watch party, you have to find one of the other watch parties around town because the Garden is sold out. And we'll see if the series gets to a game 6. I might want to partake in that when the series goes back to Indiana for game 6, if that should fortunately happen, because that would let you know that the Knicks would win one of the next 2 games and it would send it back to Indiana for game 6. But the Garden was rocking the other night. I saw video clips of it. And I told this on the show the last couple of weeks. I went with my son Jared to watch game 1 against Boston at Madison Square Garden, the viewing party for game 1. And for that series, they only sold the lower bowl of Madison Square Garden, which I guess is about 8,000 or 9,000 seats. And we had a blast that night. I mean, they did everything that you would expect to see at a Knick game when you're there. T-shirt toss, the dancers, the Michigas on the scoreboard, all that stuff. Plus, the food and the concessions, everything was half price. So it was really a fun night. I would imagine a lot of the people that were there, including myself, not really in a position to spend $800 on a ticket for an NBA playoff game. I mean, I'd have to sell my house to go to one of these Knick playoff games. It's ridiculous. And here's the other thing, too, is, look, I want TicketBash.com to do very, very well, but I just don't know if I could spend $800. It's not like TicketBash.com or any of these secondary markets. It's not like they're setting the price on it. I mean, the market sets the price on it. If somebody, the only reason that those tickets sell is because there are people who are willing to pay that money for it. But I got to be honest with you. I don't. If I had all the money in the world, which I don't, but if I did, I don't know if I would feel good about laying out that money. I don't know if I could sit there paying $800 for a ticket to a game and enjoy it. I just don't know if I'd be able to do that. I'd much rather, of course, get free tickets, whatever, or watch it at home, or watch in like a watch party like that. That would be I think it's a lot less stressful than like, I went to the game, I spent $800, I watched my team lose. I joke, and people think that I'm full of it. If the Jets ever made it to the Super Bowl, I don't know if I could, number one, justify the expense of going to the Super Bowl, even though it would be something I waited my whole life to do. But I just don't know if I could be able to spend $2,000 on a Super Bowl ticket and enjoy it. Like, how could you do that? Because remember, it's not just the ticket. You got to get to wherever the game is, get a hotel, food, all the other stuff that goes along with going on a trip like that. I mean, that's pretty tough, but God bless the people that spend the money on these tickets to the games. I'm just fine watching these big ones. Like I covered a bunch of them back in the day when I was covering games for different jobs that I had. So I've been to Knick playoff games at the Garden, like early 90s and things like that. So like the experience of that I've got. I hope my family can get to experience that. They've experienced Islander playoff games. It's a little easier, but these Knick playoff ticket prices are just insane. Tony, I know you're not much of a basketball fan, but just before we go to a break, let's just take it from a Mets perspective, because we know how much you love the Mets. And I may have even asked you this question, because I may have gone on this rant before. I don't know. I can't remember what I had for breakfast this morning. But what would be the most you would spend on a Mets ticket in the playoffs? Is there a number you would get to before you would say, you know what, I'm just going to watch the game on television?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm with you. I don't know if I definitely couldn't spend in the thousands and feel good about it.
No.
To show you how times have changed, in 1999, I paid $100 when the Mets were in the wild card. They were playing
the Todd Pratt game.
No,
not the.
This was it was to decide who were they playing. Was it Arizona, where they had to decide who was going to make it in the wild card? Yeah. Ticket was $100, only $50 more than face value, and you had to go pick the tickets up from a broker at Mickey Mantle's in the city. we didn't even know at the time that the tickets included dinner with Keith Hernandez.
Oh, really?
But now that would be several $1,000s. Yeah. Just show you how times have changed.
Yeah. It would be hard to do. It's hard. It's a lot of money to ask people to spend, but people do it, and God bless. Let's just hope, regardless of that, let's hope that the Knicks can find a way to win 3 more games and get to the finals. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk to the head coach of the now 2-time defending and reigning Division II NCAA men's lacrosse champions, the Adelphi Panthers. We're going to talk to Gordon Purdy when we come back here on Sports Bash right after this.
Hi, I'm Peter Schwartz.
And I'm Vinny Tickets.
We want to take a moment to talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Embassy Diner.
Embassy Diner has been a beloved staple in the restaurant industry for over 50 years. And the great thing about it is when you walk through the door, you're not a customer, you are family. Every visit promises to be filled with warmth, love, and respect.
And here's an extra treat. If you mention Sports Bash during your visit, you enjoy a free dessert on the Embassy Diner.
Come on down to the Embassy Diner, where great food and great company are always on the menu.
Visit the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage. Hi, I'm Peter.
In 1982, the Marty Lyons Foundation began with a single heartfelt mission: to bring moments of joy and hope to critically ill children by granting wishes that make their dreams come true. Since that day, we have touched the lives of over 8,500 families, raising over $43 million to grant wishes that offer a beacon of light in their darkest times. These precious wishes cost an average of $6,700 each, and your support is crucial to our mission. Every donation, big or small, makes a difference. And with 76 cents of every dollar going directly to supporting our families, you can rest assured your support truly changes lives. The Marty Lyons Foundation operates 11 chapters in 14 states now, working tirelessly to reach as many children as we can. This dedication goes hand in hand with our commitment to transparency and accountability, earning us top ratings on Charity Navigator, Great Nonprofits, and Candid, which underscores our dedication to those we serve. The Marty Lyons Foundation grants wishes to children ages 3 to 17. And what really makes this foundation so special is our willingness to grant not only a first wish, but also consider a second wish to a child who continues to battle a life-threatening illness. We stand by these children, offering them hope and strength through the power of dreams, giving our children the courage to wish for more.
What's your purpose in life? Is your purpose in life to live in the big house and drive the nice car? No. Your purpose in this life is to make it a little bit better for those that follow and realize that we live for today to see a better tomorrow.
Visit MartyLyonsFoundation.org to learn more and get involved.
Lewis operates top of the box. Hands are free. Here's Lewis' shot. He scores! He scores! Kyle Lewis has one for Adelphi. And the Panthers pounce on another Division II national championship. They win it 9-8 in overtime tonight.
Welcome back to Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com. I'm Peter Schwartz. You just watched and heard the play-by-play highlight from the official NCAA website on Sunday as Adelphi beat Tampa in overtime 9-8. Kyle Lewis with the overtime goal, and the Adelphi Panthers for the second straight year are national champions for men's Division II lacrosse. And on the line with us right now is their great coach and even better person, longtime friend of mine. And, you know, it's one thing when these happen to really good people, but it's another one when it happens to a friend of yours. But Gordon Purdy, the head coach of Adelphi, joins us here on Sports Bash from his offices at Adelphi University here on Long Island. Gordon, it's Peter. How are you, my friend?
Good night, Peter. Couldn't be happier to be able to talk to you again. That's for sure. Seems like a year ago we were making the same talks.
Well, absolutely. The only difference was, and I mentioned it on the open. Yeah, well, no problem. The only difference, a year ago, I came into the office. We did a special taping, and I got to hold the trophy last year. Is the trophy as heavy as it was last year, or does it get easier to carry these every time you win one?
I think with the training I've had carrying last year's trophy, it just seems that little bit lighter. But I'll tell you, the passion that I woke up with the day after is still the same. To win a championship is an unreal experience that, every athlete should have an opportunity to get that chance, and to be able to achieve that is something that I'll never forget.
Can we get a better look at the trophy? Move the phone a little bit. I want to see it a little bit.
It is not light, and yeah, here we have it. I don't know if you get to see that there.
Yes.
It's an unbelievable heavy trophy that it's a little like once you get to the top of the mountain, you will finally get there. No one can say you didn't get there. So for us to get there and to get there twice is an unbelievable experience.
When we talked last year, winning a championship is not easy at any level, whether it's youth sports, high school, college, pro. It's not easy to win a championship. After you won last year, and obviously it was a relief because it had been a while since that had happened. But for you,
too many years of being that one goal loss in 11. Going on to lose just a few teams that went on to win and watching them, hold up the trophy where we really felt like we could have been that team. Yeah, it's been a challenge.
Right. So when you win last year, obviously it's a big relief, but how long did it take for you to kind of turn off winning the championship to go back to saying, you know what, we got enough players coming back, we got some good players coming in, we could do this again?
So that's a great question. When we won the championship. That summer we started, trying to figure out how we were going to be able to get back. With that win comes a lot of responsibility. There's a lot of distractions. You have, a ring ceremony, a trip to the White House as a team. Here you are building for next year, yet you're constantly being reminded that you're the best team last year. So we had to fit to say last year's over. And when we hit the first practice, this was a new team. We lost 4 of our top 6 scorers, so we definitely had a new team. But the thing that got me about this team was the level of confidence they came back with. I've never had a team that was as confident in the fall as this team. And it was scary, the amount of confidence they had. And I realized very quickly that those players that came back had done the work and the preparation over the summer to be able to handle that confidence. And I felt really good about this team day one, but really the first week of fall, when I realized, wow, this is a different team than last year. They're moving the ball. We may not have the superstars we had last year, but together, this team found ways to score goals. And with Renner back in the cage, this defense was solid.
Was it that early on, or was there another moment during the season where you started to think you had a chance to win it again?
No, it was the first week. I saw players doing things that they couldn't have done last year. And all of a sudden, I realized in the first week, we can't be this good. We cannot be this good. I literally said it coming off practice after practice. Like, what is going on? Are we really this good?
Or maybe maybe this team is just very well coached.
No. Listen, I will say I have Coach of the Year and Coach Volpe, Assistant Coach of the Year. He won the Defensive Coach of the Year 2 years ago. I had Associate Head Coach Catalanati, who got the Offensive Award last year. So, yes, listen, if you want to give credit, I'll give credit to myself that I have 2 of the best coaches and found 2 of the best coaches in the game today. And I truly believe that. There's no 2 coaches that are part-time here at Adelphi putting in more time than full-time guys, literally. So, yeah, I'm real, if you want to talk about coaching, but I will say I had players that were able to put up 65 pounds pressing more when they left than the first day they got back. 65 pounds bench pressing.
Wow.
An increase. So these kids went away, realized they had to get bigger, stronger, faster. From the last day, we've got a team meeting at 4:00. They're going to be given that same message. You have to come back stronger and better if we think we're going to have a chance to win next year.
And you certainly came back and did it. Gordon Purdy, the head coach of Adelphi, the men's lacrosse team, national champions of Division II for the 2nd straight year after a 9-8 win over the University of Tampa on Sunday in Foxborough. 9-8. Kyle Lewis gets the game-winning goal in overtime. Before we talk about Kyle's heroics, talk to me about the game, because sometimes in any sport you could have a game that you just, wow, if you could just wrap that up And if you're trying to convince somebody to watch a sport and follow a sport, and it doesn't matter what sport it is, watch this game. Because on Sunday, that was as good of a lacrosse game as you could see at any level. There was never more than a 2-goal lead. You exchanged leads with them. It went back and forth. And as much as, listen, I think everybody that represents Adelphi would have loved, a 13-2 blowout. I think the way it went was probably the way that these two great teams should go. Back and forth, knock them down, get back up off the mat, and you guys finally prevail in overtime.
Peter, I've been playing at Adelphi since 1987, six really, and now that I'm back here, I've played, world lacrosse. I've played pro for 13 years. I don't ever remember a game like this one that was back and forth to a point that the ball went in the back of the net with 12 seconds, only to find out a whistle had canceled that goal.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, my emotions was we just lost the game, only to hear the whistle saying, "No, we've got another chance." And you're right. If you would have watched that game, and I did watch it that night when I got back to, 2, 3 in the morning. It's an incredible game that just shows resilience for both teams. And I have a lot of respect for, their coaching staff, our coaching staff, and every player that played in that game, because it was such a challenging game, an emotional game. And I think our guys, never gave up hope. Even Dylan Renner, when you see the ball go in, and I spoke to him about this, there was a moment in time where he thought the ball that we'd lost. If you look at the videotape, and you can watch it on ncaa.com, we've got, D'Alessandro smashing his stick into the ground with 12 seconds to go, only to find that goal, was canceled. And so be given another chance to watch us go out and win that next face-off, and to watch, Coach Cat put up a play that worked to perfection. Really, these kids never gave up hope. Really never. If they did, it was for 1.5 seconds. That was it, all game. Other than that, they believed that we could win, and so did the coaching staff. And I'm so proud of the 2025 Adelphi lacrosse team, the support that the school's given us. And it's an unbelievable experience to win a championship and to go back to back and now move in. And you haven't asked me, about next year, but
I was going to get to that. I was going to get to that a little bit.
Yeah, our whole offense comes back. I mean, it's insane that, every player that was on the field offensively is back.
I think maybe we have to start talking about a three-peat.
No. No, we want to somewhat enjoy this history for a little bit. And, we'll start worrying about, next year at some point. I'm just so happy for the boys right now, and that's, that whole finishing up and getting through a really tough Northeast 10 schedule. I've had a bout of pneumonia this year, which, for the first time held me off for getting to a game. I mean, it's been a long year, an emotional year, and it couldn't have ended for us at a better high.
And the way it ended was spectacular. You survived the end of regulation, and then it goes to overtime. And look, Kyle Lewis gets the praise for scoring a goal, and it was a great shot to win the game. But you guys got to win. There's in a team sport, there's so many things that contribute to somebody ultimately becoming the hero. But you got to win the faceoff, because the last thing you want to do is not have the first possession of overtime. Because you may not you could lose the game without touching the ball. So you get the faceoff, you get down the field, and you wind up scoring the goal. So there. Just like anything else in lacrosse, it was a team effort for Kyle Lewis to score that game-winning goal.
Well, you watched the goal. What we did was we inverted 2 short sticks at X. So what we tried to do was in inverting the ball, we put an extreme amount of pressure on those long poles to have to help. And driving the ball from X gave us an opportunity to scissor cut and pop Kyle out and have him catch that ball with his defender coming out to him. And if you watch the play, and as I said, you can go watch it. It's on the NCAA website. He makes a dramatic move to his left, only to open up the whole right side because all of our players knew he was going there, and there was no help. It freed up his hands. The commentator said it as he called the play. You know, if he gets his hands free, he's going to put this one in, and that he did. He put the ball in the back of the cage, but it required 6 players to do what they had to do off ball, and that's why this team was so good. You know, we broke all sorts of records this year with NCAA and Adelphi scoring records, Adelphi points records, and it wasn't because these players were so much better. It was because they played together and didn't care who scored.
Right.
And Kyle said that in an interview. Although he scored that goal, he was just one of 6 that did their role to allow him to score that goal.
Right. That's what being a team is all about. I know you came home yesterday. You got a hero's welcome on the campus. I saw the video of the buses pulling up. Is there any kind of celebration plan, like a formal celebration plan on campus that people should know about?
Yeah, listen, we came back and Don Clavin was here with a huge sign and News 12 and Newsday. It's an amazing experience to get back here. All the parents were here. Before I left, our president, Dr. Reardon, was here to wish us all the best. So, Adelphi is a great place to be. I know the ring guy that we used last year was texting me. I said, "Where's our rings?" As a joke, and sent pictures of the team. So there's a lot of celebration that we had last year that now, we're a little bit in front of to prepare for that. We got our 4:00 meeting, as I said, today with our players. We're going to get to celebrate this one. The parents will. The board of trustees, I'm sure, will want to do something. I've been invited to a few golf outings now with some of the board of trustees members. So real excited to be here at Adelphi and to experience this win and to celebrate this win with the guys and the coaches and the administration. It's unbelievable experience.
With all this going on, Gordon, I'm surprised you answered my text yesterday.
I looked at my texts after the game. I have not yet got back to them. There was over 1,000 texts that I don't think I'll ever get to. I know last year some people after months said, "Hey, you finally got back to me." It's, as I said, it's a crazy experience to win a game like that, to put everything on the line. It comes down to one shot. You've been working at this for 6 months straight, 7 days a week, and to now circle back. I just showed a couple of emails to my boss this morning from players from the 1960s.
Wow.
I had sons of former student athletes here that started our program that are completely, in awe of this team. And I couldn't be happy with the support that these, that we're getting from the alum, the support we're getting from the university. It's just amazing. I can't thank this school enough for giving me the opportunity, allowing me to sit here as head coach. I'm truly one of the most blessed persons there is on Long Island.
And those last 2 words you said, Long Island, because if there is ever a community that deserves championships when it comes to lacrosse, it is Long Island, because this is one of the great hotbeds of lacrosse in all of the world, to be honest with you. And I've been told the story by our mutual friend, Mike Nelson, who tells me that he was the one who picked you up at the airport when you came to the United States to play for the New York Saints, which is how we became friends when I was the radio announcer and you were playing. So when you think about how it all started for you arriving here on Long Island to now winning back-to-back championships, can you now call yourself a Long Islander? I know you never want to turn your back on your native Australia because you go back there all the time. But are you a Long Islander now, or are you still?
That's a great question, and the answer is, David. There was a couple of Australians that came over from Australia that played here. Okay, that played here at Adelphi to come and watch the game, and those Australians have reminded me of me being on the field with them in Australia and working with them as youngsters, as youngins. So, I don't think I can ever turn my back on Australia.
No,
I
no.
think I'm always going to have two worlds. Come 11 and 12, 1, 2, 3 in the morning, I'm on the phone with my whole family because it's daytime there the following day. So, yeah, I don't, I'll always have two worlds. I can't believe, for those that didn't know, in 1986, I arrived at JFK and chose to try to find a school and went into New York City, not having a clue where I was, thinking there was a school in New York City, only to find that I had to get to Long Island. And thank goodness for Mike Nelson. Thank goodness for Adelphi giving me a chance to come and play at Adelphi University, and then giving me the chance to take on this incredible ride. I had an opportunity to play for Doc Doherty, and he was an inspiration to me. And Kevin Sheehan, who was on the sideline with us on Sunday. I mean, I've just been so blessed with this Adelphi lacrosse team and the opportunity to be here.
And when you played for the Saints, as this came up on the show last week, because another mutual friend of ours, Josh Blumenthal, called into the show last week when we were talking about lacrosse, and my producer, Tony Walker, I don't know if you know this. Do you remember this guy used to dance in the crowd at the Saints games during a timeout? They used to call him Dancing Tony. Do you remember that?
So I remember a dance. I don't know Dancing Tony, but I remember there was a lot of characters, and I remember that character. So I didn't know it was Dancing Tony, but there was certainly him and I think we had up to 17,000 back then. But yes, it was a busy crowd, and yes, I do remember a dancer. Yes.
Yeah, so he was on the scoreboard. That's actually my producer and the host of the show that's on before us, the comedy show. So he wanted me to make sure that he said, what? Why are you laughing? He's having a stroke over there. Turn on the microphone and say hello to Gordon.
Gordon, it's a pleasure. Congratulations. You were one of the most exciting players and a fan favorite back in those days.
Tony.
This is this is kind of like a little thrill. Again, congratulations to you.
Part of that Saints program for 10 years, I tell you.
We lost the audio there for a second.
Thank you. I really appreciate that shout out. I do. Thank you.
There you go. And by the way, I didn't mean to. I don't want to end this on a sad note, but I'm gonna do it anyway. But for a few years, I was the radio announcer for the Riptide, and you were nice enough one night when you had your youth lacrosse team there at the Coliseum. You came up and you did an interview with me. How disappointed were you that it didn't work here again with the Riptide and they relocated and now no more indoor lacrosse on the island?
Yeah, I think that while, if you look at the way lacrosse is in the landscape of lacrosse, indoor, outdoor, Division II lacrosse, I've watched teams that were and colleges that were playing that aren't playing now and new programs developing. I think it's a phase. I think eventually we're going to get professional lacrosse, indoor professional lacrosse back on the island at some point.
But it's got to be done right. It's got to be done right.
Gordon, a little timeout that we're not going to have it for some time, but I'm sure, lacrosse, as you know, is being played all over the island. I can't see it not being played indoor at some point.
But it's got to be done correctly, Gordon. It's got to be done correctly. They've got to bring in, if this happens again, you have to have somebody who's got the resources for it, but they also have to hire the right people. You can't ignore people who wanted to get involved that had experience with it. And I think that's what happened with the Riptide. They didn't have the right people running the ship.
And that may be the case. I don't want to say that.
Well, I said it. You don't have to say it. I said
it. Yeah, I mean that's my former team, and I'm a good teammate for them. I will always truly love that Saints organization. All the people that were doing.
Oh no, I meant the Saints. No, but Gordon, the Saints were run great. It was the Riptide that wasn't run very well. That's who I was talking about.
Yeah, well, I had little to do with that. I know that they did bring us down for a game or two and had us work, a little bit with with that administration there. Yeah, listen, it's a tremendous amount of sadness that it's not here right now.
Yeah.
And as I said, I do think that we are going to get back to that at some point. And I look forward to that day. And you and I will celebrate that one day.
Yes,
I truly
we will.
believe that, Peter. I really do.
Well, for the time being, and this is way more important right now because I wanted to make sure I brought that up, but we had you on to celebrate what was a great event on Sunday, back-to-back national champions for Adelphi. Gordon Purdy, head coach, thank you so much, my friend, for taking some time. Congratulations to everybody within the team and the athletic department and also around the entire campus. It's a great moment for the whole school.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on today.
All right, talk to you soon. Gordon Purdy, men's head coach of the Adelphi Panthers, back-to-back Division II national champions. When we come back, we'll put a wrap on the show. We still got a lot more to do. We've got the sports calendar is coming up. We've got the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day. And we'll talk a little baseball, too, when we come back and take your phone calls at 516-465-3990. More Sports Bash coming up right after this.
In 1982, the Marty Lyons Foundation began with a single heartfelt mission: to bring moments of joy and hope to critically ill children by granting wishes that make their dreams come true. Since that day, we have touched the lives of over 8,500 families, raising over $43 million to grant wishes that offer a beacon of light in their darkest times. These precious wishes cost an average of $6,700 each, and your support is crucial to our mission. Every donation, big or small, makes a difference. And with 76 cents of every dollar going directly to supporting our families, you can rest assured your support truly changes lives. The Marty Lyons Foundation operates 11 chapters in 14 states now, working tirelessly to reach as many children as we can. This dedication goes hand in hand with our commitment to transparency and accountability, earning us top ratings on Charity Navigator, Great Nonprofits, and Candid, which underscores our dedication to those we serve. The Marty Lyons Foundation grants wishes to children ages 3 to 17. And what really makes this foundation so special is our willingness to grant not only a first wish, but also consider a second wish to a child who continues to battle a life-threatening illness. We stand by these children, offering them hope and strength through the power of dreams, giving our children the courage to wish for more.
What's your purpose in life? Is your purpose in life to live in the big house and drive the nice car? No. Your purpose in this life is to make it a little bit better for those that follow and realize that we live for today to see a better tomorrow.
Visit MartyLyonsFoundation.org to learn more and get involved.
Schwartz.
And I'm Vinny Tickets.
We want to take a moment to talk about our fantastic sponsor, the Embassy Diner.
Embassy Diner has been a beloved staple in the restaurant industry for over 50 years. And the great thing about it is when you walk through the door, you're not a customer, you are family. Every visit promises to be filled with warmth, love, and respect.
And here's an extra treat. If you mention Sports Bash during your visit, you enjoy a free dessert on the Embassy Diner.
Come on down to the Embassy Diner, where great food and great company are always on the menu.
Visit the Embassy Diner, located at 4280 Hempstead Turnpike in Bethpage. Hi, I'm Peter Schwartz.
And I'm Vinny Tickets.
Welcome back to Sports Bash, presented by TicketBash.com. We come back with Billy Joel. I've loved these days. Again, one of so many great, maybe underappreciated songs from the Piano Man. I think if you're a true Billy Joel fan, it's probably one of your favorites because it's such a great emotional song. But I think maybe the less passionate Billy, the common Billy Joel fan might not recognize that song and might not appreciate it as much, but certainly one of my favorites. And I don't think I've ever used it on one of the rejoins here on the show, but I wanted to make sure we got it in. And again, as we did on the last show, all the best to Billy Joel in his recovery. Welcome back to the show. I'm Peter Schwartz. Again, we thank Gordon Purdy, the men's head lacrosse coach at Adelphi, back-to-back national championships for the Panthers. What a great story. And boy, when you think about college sports on Long Island, and there's been some great teams in all of sports to play for the various colleges here on Long Island, but there's not a lot of them that have won national champions. I mean, I have to do some better research on that, but for Adelphi, back-to-back national champions in college lacrosse, that's something. I mean, that's something, doesn't matter if you're a lacrosse fan or not. I mean, if you hear that news, if you're watching News 12, if you're a casual sports fan, you pick up Newsday, and you read about it, that's pretty cool. I mean, that's awesome. Again, listen, we all are sports fans to root for our favorite pro sports teams, and if you went to one of these colleges that are big and you want to root for them as well. But locally, I mean, there's not aside from the four major sports and maybe some of the minor league teams like the Long Island Ducks, these college teams on Long Island, I mean, they deserve a lot of credit, and a lot of support, and I can't speak enough. And I've done some work for Adelphi, filling in, doing a couple of games, public address for them. They're great people over there. It's not just Gordon Purdy; it's the whole staff over there. So congratulations to them, and I hope they can enjoy that for a while here before they start to, as Gordon said, turn their attention to 2026, and do we dare say three-peat for Adelphi. And I'm certain that's going to be on their minds next year when they gather for the start of camp for next year. So again, congratulations to Adelphi. This segment of Sports Bash is presented by Ryan Anthony's Heating and Air Conditioning Service, keeping Long Island warm for over 18 years, serving their customers in Nassau and Suffolk with pride, honesty, and integrity. For more information, visit www.liboilers.com. Before I get to the sports calendar, a couple of notes on baseball. Again, the Yankees off to a good start on this road trip, 2 out of 3 in Colorado, and then they win last night. But last night, the story, again, Anthony Volpe had a big 3-run double in that game last night, but Ryan Yarbrough, who the Yankees picked up off the scrap heap from the Blue Jays, he wasn't really even supposed to be a significant part of the rotation. And the Yankees brought him in to be a reliever. Maybe they send him down to AAA to start there. Maybe he gets a long relief. But with the injuries to Garrett Cole and to Luis Gil, Marcus Stroman, he's being looked on now to be a contributor. And boy, what a performance last night. He gives up a leadoff home run in the first inning, and that's it. 6 innings, a run, 2 hits, and he was terrific. And boy, you watch him throw. He's a left-hander, and you start to think, boy, this guy is like where'd they find this guy from? Like, did they call him up? Was he a prime? I'm sure there were people wondering where the hell did this guy come from. The Yankees got him off the scrap heap in spring training. And as much as Brian Cashman has gotten criticized over the years for not being able to identify enough pitchers, because a lot of his pitchers he's brought in did not pan out. This was a scrap heap thing. And maybe the Yankees found something. You never know what pitcher needs a change of scenery. They go from one team to another, and all of a sudden they find it. Maybe it's the right pitching coach. Maybe it's something else, analytics-wise or whatever. But wow, I mean, for him to pitch like that, he has pitched very well. He's got around a 3 ERA for the Yankees, and that was terrific to see. I mean, sometimes I have trouble staying up late and watch these West Coast games because I am old now, but that was riveting last night, and that was exciting as a Yankee fan to watch him pitch like that last night. And you don't expect that, especially he gets up a leadoff home run. I'm like, I'm gonna have this gonna be turned off in just 2 seconds here after the Angels score 5 more here. But he settled down, a run, 2 hits. That was awesome last night. I'm telling you, it's a great thing when you see something like that. And not to discount the Mets, but again, I talked about it at the beginning. That's a great win for the Mets yesterday. Listen, Yankees shouldn't have struggled with Colorado. You shouldn't struggle with a team like Chicago if you have World Series aspirations like the Mets. But listen, in front of a full house like that yesterday, the Mets couldn't do anything for the whole game. They finally wind up tying the game, and then they win it on the walk-off. But here's the lasting memory. If I was, you don't even have to be a Met fan. And I'm sure Tony was watching the game yesterday as well.
I was.
The great thing about that game, the best thing, and I don't know him. I've been trying to get him on the show because I just think he's just terrific with the way he conducts interviews. But Steve Govs is awesome. He is absolutely a brilliant interviewer, and you can tell how much fun he has. And I'm trying. I've never met the guy. I just know him from watching him on TV. I'm trying to get a hold of him through social media. We'd love to have him on the show. Part of me felt bad for him, but then it was funny when he's interviewing Francisco Lindor after the walk-off sac fly, and they see the I don't know if it was Gatorade buckets, whatever it was, coming in, and you could see Lindor sees it coming, and Gelb sees it coming, and Gelb goes to step out of the way. I should have sent you the video.
Yeah.
I should have sent you the video. My bad on that. But if you had him on the show, we'll obviously have to play it. But Francisco Lindor with this big giant bear hug and holds Steve Gelbs there to help deflect some of the water, and Gelbs is absolutely soaking wet. But he had that's the thing. I imagine there would be some people in that position, and I know a bunch of these people being in this business for a long time, that would have been pissed off. There's probably people that do that job that would have been royally pissed off. But you saw, and he knew it was funny. He loved it. And he literally, no pun intended, soaked it all in. He really did. And that was funny. I mean, but again, all joking aside, I think when you look at these people who do that for a living, the sideline reporter, the field reporter, whatever you want to call it, ice side reporter, and we're blessed here in New York to have some really, really good ones that do that. Whether it's Steve Gelbs or Shannon Hogan, John Giannone for the Rangers, Alan Hahn does it for the Knicks sometimes. I know Meredith Marakovitz on the Yankees does a great job with that. We're blessed here in New York, but Steve Gelbs deserves an Emmy for that yesterday. I think he should get an Emmy just for hanging in there and just not losing his cool. And he kept going on with the interview. It was fun. It was great, and everybody had a good time with it. I thought that was fantastic yesterday. Let us get to the weekly sports calendar. And for that, I do have to go to my text messages because Connor Kalb, our great sports media, social media director, sent me the weekly sports calendar brought to you by TicketBash.com. Tonight, it's the Liberty hosting the this is a brand new team in the WNBA, the Golden State Valkyries. Right? Did I pronounce that correct, Tony? I think I did.
I think so.
We looked it up. By the way, I didn't know what a Valkyrie was, and Tony did some great work beforehand and looked it up. It's a female figure, a chooser of the slain. It's kind of a deep figure, but this is a new team. It's owned, I think, by the same ownership group as the Golden State Warriors. I'm actually taking my son Jared to the game at Barclays Center tonight. Got my tickets on TicketBash.com. Great prices, great seats, and no service fees. So there you go. And I'm going to get to that again here in just a minute. But to continue with the calendar, the Mets are playing the White Sox today, the 27th, also tomorrow, the 28th. You've got Game 5 of the Knicks-Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals. It'll be at the Garden on the 29th. The Mets start their 3-game series with the Rockies the 30th through the 1st. You can get tickets for all these sporting events and more at TicketBash.com. They offer no service fees and have the lowest prices around, as I learned today with my Liberty tickets. Again, this segment of Sports Bash presented by Ryan Anthony's Heating and Air Conditioning Service, keeping Long Island warm for over 18 years, serving their customers in Nassau and Suffolk with pride, honesty, and integrity. For more information, visit www.liboilers.com. I mentioned the Yankees. I mentioned the Mets. Also this week, the Islanders are going to formally introduce their new general manager, Matthew Darsh, at a press conference later this week at UBS Arena. Looking forward to covering that for Sports Bash Media and also for WFAN. And on Thursday's show, I'll have a little recap of the press conference, and maybe we'll have an interview or two from that media event later on this week. It is time now for the Sports Bash Media poll question of the day. Should NFL players be allowed to play football, flag football, in the Olympics? As you might have heard about, they have approved NFL players participating in the Summer Olympics next year, or that's in 2028, 2028 Summer Olympics will be in Los Angeles. They're going to have flag football, and it has been approved that NFL players can play. And my question would be, is that right? And I have to be honest, listen, I know we've all come to seeing the professionals playing in the other sports. You have the NBA players playing in the Olympics, the NHL players play in the Olympics, and now there's obviously the World Baseball Classic. I don't really think the NFL players should be. And you have a choice of yes or no online. I don't really think they should be doing it. I mean, there are people all over this country that play flag football as a religion. You see it in leagues, all ages. Girls are getting into it now as well. I think it could be cool at times to see the pros playing the other sports. Flag football is a completely different animal than tackle football. Not to say it doesn't involve any skill. It does. It does. You have to have a lot of skill to play flag football because it's a different version of football. There's different things you have to be able to do. But I don't think the NFL players should be involved with this at all. It's great that they market the sport of flag football with the way they do the Pro Bowl now. But I would keep the NFL players away from this and let the men and women who have earned it, who increased the popularity of flag football, let them be the ones who get to carry the torch, so to speak, and carry the banner and participate and represent at the Olympics in 2028. It should not be the NFL players. Tony, what do you think of that?
Are you saying that because risk of injury or
no?
Like
I just don't. I just
think
think you've got these boys, boys, girls, men, and women that have been playing flag football for all of these years and have worked it up, and they made the sport so popular.
Okay.
And now you're going to take those spots away from them and give it to NFL players. Already have the spotlight during their season.
Yeah.
I don't think they should be taking that away.
No, that's an excellent point, Peter. I'm going to agree with you.
Okay, good. I'm glad. If we don't agree on too much, kind of like when I didn't like a Billy Joel song, and Tony's still angry at me over that. Yeah. Wow. There's not a lot of them. Less than 5, maybe less than 3. Still too many. And I struck a nerve.
Still too many.
Pat LaFontaine and his Companions in Courage Foundation present a concert for courage this Friday, May 30th, 8 o'clock at Adelphi University. And again, congratulations to Adelphi. They're all over the place. The Performing Arts Center in Garden City. The concert featuring jazz keyboardist Al DeGregoris and his all-star ensemble. Tickets are available for under $30. For more information, visit www.cic16.org. The NHL has unveiled the logo for the Winter Classic next season, January 2nd. It's in Miami, and it's going to be the Rangers and the Panthers. And here's my question. How are they going to keep the ice cold in Miami? I'm no technology expert, but I saw that they were going to have the Winter Classic in Miami. I thought that was interesting. It's pretty hot down there, but they are going to have the Winter Classic at the home of the Marlins January 2nd, and good luck to the NHL, that whole staff. Keep that ice playable there in Miami on January 2nd. Kind of defeats the purpose of the Winter Classic, doesn't it? Yeah. Now, I know that they're running out of places. Like, there's only so many different places you can go. You don't want to keep repeating the same locations, but man, oh man, I almost want to go to that because I want to see how they're going to make ice outdoors in South Florida. And I know my mother is watching, and she's going to be like, are you going to come down here with everybody? Well, first of all, they're playing the Rangers. I have no interest in going to see that. No. If they were playing the Islanders, yes, absolutely, we'd come down. But Go. Irregardless of whether the ice is good or bad, go Panthers in that game. Coming up on Thursday's show, we'll get ready for Knicks versus Pacers Game 5. We'll recap the Islanders press conference, and we're going to play Stump the Wiz. Make sure you get your questions in. If you send your question in, we use it, and you Stump the Wiz on Thursday, you will get a great prize courtesy of ticketbash.com, and we'll also check out This Week in Sports History. That about wraps it up, a special 64-minute edition of Sports Bash. So again, the meter is running on the overtime. That'll do it. Sports Bash is presented by ticketbash.com and Ryan Anthony's Heating and Air Conditioning Service. Thanks to my guest, Gordon Purdy. Thanks to Tony Walker, everyone here at Governor's Comedy Club in Levittown. Sports Bash is sponsored by the Embassy Diner in Bethpage and by the Marty Lyons Foundation. For our entire crew, I'm Peter Schwartz saying thank you for watching. Sports Bash returns on Thursday at 1 o'clock. Have a great day, everyone. And let's go Knicks!